All right, as we record this, we are a couple of days away from UFC 272. The build to this main event has been a bit ugly, if you will. So I think myself and everyone else in the space needs a little bit of positivity in our lives. And who better to give that to us than this man, Robert Whittaker, who had himself a super competitive fight with Israel Adesanya less than a month ago at UFC 271. Drops unanimous decision, but seemed quite happy with the performance. And I am happy to have Robert Whittaker back on. Robert, how are you, sir?
Good, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to have you here. And a lot was made about the build to this fight with Israel, comparing it to the first one, about how you felt about everything after the fact, after that first fight. You grew quite a bit from it. You went sort of to that dark place, found the light. The aftermath of this one, yeah, you don't have the belt, but it's a night and day comparison to October 2019, is it not?
Yeah, definitely, because it's not even close, because after that first fight, preparing for the second fight, there's always that level of hesitancy, of caution, of doubt, not doubt like of what ifs, and that's always present throughout the camp, throughout the training, and especially present during the fight. And you can see it kind of come out in that first round, and then in that second round, like a bolt of lightning hit me, and it's like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen like that. I've come too far. And you can see 2, 3, 4, 5, I just get better and better and better. And then leaving that fight, I feel like I've come full circle finally. I've completed the cycle, and I've left that fight so much better than when I went in. And as you've seen the progress of my evolution and skills and getting better, mate, the future is limitless. There is no ceiling, and I was focusing on that because I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for what's to come. And me and Adesanya are going to cross paths again, and I think the next fight will be very, very different.
Was the question you asked on social media? How is the serenity? It seems like you found that in a number of ways, right?
Yeah, but that was also a take from the Australian movie The Castle.
Right. But I mean, it was nice to put on yourself. You look so, the slow-mo, the beer, it was just a nice relaxing thing.
Mate, that's what you got to do.
Absolutely. The fight week itself, it seemed like you're really enjoying yourself. We saw the embedded series. You're playing video games with your dad. Press conference was super laid back. You relaxed. You and Izzy seemed to enjoy yourselves. And you have, of course, when you have Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa on the stage, how can you not have fun with all that personality up there? It just seemed like it was just so much better of an approach on fight week. As good as it can be on that aspect, was it better than you actually thought it would be?
Yeah, definitely. And you see, that's another thing going into this second one. It's like I knew how I would be and how far I had come. But after that first fight, that first presser, that first conference, that first scenario just leaves such a bad lingering taste in your mouth, like almost like PTSD sort of, you're kind of just, it's always there. You're always remembering it. So to see everything play out the way it did was really, really, it was really nice.
How did you feel Saturday morning of the fight? Like, how would you describe the feeling of waking up that morning in Houston, knowing I have this big fight coming up? Like you said, it's going full circle. I prepared for this. I put so much into it. I mentally put myself in the best place possible. Like, what was the day of the fight like for you?
The day of the fight's like every other fight. Just stress, nerves, focus. It's doing whatever you can to try and take your mind off it until later.
How much fun did you have in that octagon over those 25 minutes? Because you seemed like you had a blast in there.
Yeah, it's there's not a lot of time to actually enjoy yourself. It's kind of just everything's happening so fast, and it was such a chess match. It was kind of stressful, to be honest. I'm glad it looked like I was having fun, but it was anything but. It was like it was a hard fought fight.
How so? Like, what was so? I mean, obviously, Adesanya is such a tough piece, like puzzle to solve, and the movement and the feints and everything that he does. What was probably like the thing you remember most about the fight? Like, was there like sort of a vision? Maybe it's like a slow one that sort of plays out in your mind that was consistent throughout the fight that you recall more than anything else?
Um, no, I guess the overwhelming thought was just like how well the game plan that I brought into the fight was executed, like how well it worked, how well it was like I executed it, and how effective it was against him.
You left that cage feeling like you won, and I think you might still feel like you won the fight. How would you grade your performance overall? Like sharing those 25 minutes, how would you grade it overall? Are you even able to do that?
Yeah, like it was a good performance, and I executed the game plan that we spent weeks to fight, and I come a hell of a long way since that first one. But I'm not happy with it yet. I'm not happy with it. I didn't win, even if I felt like I won, even if a lot of other people think I felt like I won, I didn't win. And that sits with me still. Like the next day I woke up not feeling happy, like it eats at me still. I'm not happy to lose. That's not, otherwise I wouldn't be in this sport. It's, so performance wise, like, whilst I'm proud of what happened and the way I conducted myself in the game plan that I executed, I'm not satisfied. And, I can only make amends with that by taking out the next guy and then getting back at Izzy one day.
I'm glad you brought up the word satisfied, because that was a word that stood out to me in our first conversation, like heading into the fight. And I know you were asked about the press conference and you kind of no-sold it at the moment, which I thought was kind of funny, but that was like what you were looking for more than anything. You were like, yeah, I want to, winning would be great. Winning the belt would be great. And now I know I'm better prepared to win the belt, but I just want to leave that octagon feeling like I left it all in there. And that feeling of satisfaction was more important to you than anything else. Does it feel different now? Like now that in like hindsight 2020, does it feel different now? Like you maybe you're not satisfied.
No, I know at this point in time, I left it all there. And that's the only reason why I'm not much sadder than I am, right? It's I know that I left it all there. And but I didn't get that feeling of satisfaction, like I just mentioned, because whilst I think it was a great fight from my half and everything, and I took so much from it, and that I don't like losing. Like I don't like losing, and I know I can bring more of myself out, and maybe that's maybe that's part of my drive. It's just seeking that satisfaction, but it's not there yet. And all I can do is just keep hunting for it.
People were fascinated by the fact that you have never watched the first fight with Israel Adesanya. Even at the press conference, like people were gasping when you had said that you never watched the fight. But you also said that, to be fair, you don't really go back and watch many of your fights in the aftermath. Very few, if memory serves you correctly. You watched this one back, right? A fight that close, you had to have watched it.
No, not yet.
You haven't?
Nah.
Why not?
It's too long, mate. 25 minutes. Bloody hell.
I'm shocked that you haven't watched it. Like, I know the first one, I get it, and like some of the other ones, but fight that close, a fight you felt like you won, I'm shocked. Yeah. I thought you'd go back to your room and watch it right after.
Nah, nah.
How do you score the fight when you think back to it? When you go back round by round in your brain?
I thought I won 3 of 5. I did. It's every punching exchange we got into, I won. I had takedowns. I don't know. It is what it is. That's why I was fighting the way I did. I was confident with the victory, and I don't want to sit here and sound butthurt about it all. Because there's been too much debate about it already. It's old news anyway. It is what it is. In close fights, the decision usually leans towards the champ. So the only thing I can do is get better again, which I've been doing every fight, and make sure the next fight isn't as close.
The video of you arriving home and going to the car and opening the trunk with your kids there to greet you, I mean, that was just heartwarming stuff, man. That was amazing. What was that like after everything you had gone through to get to that fight, the travel, and then sharing the cage with Izzy, and just to see your kids' faces like that? What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, mate, that's the reason why I do it. Yeah, that's my drive. Because, with the pandemic and everything, they haven't been able to pick me up from the airport in the longest time, because normally I go straight from the airport to a hotel quarantine. So to see them at the airport all picking me up and so excited to see me, yeah, and they're at an age where they actually miss me now, like they feel it when I'm gone. So yeah, it's special. It's special.
What was your favorite moment of fight week?
Mate, probably just sitting down and playing games with my dad for like 12 hours a day. Like
12 hours a day?
Bonding. Well, any moment I wasn't forced to do something else, I just sitting there playing video games, and just I don't know, it's such a good bonding moment between me and him. Yeah.
Is that the most amount of time playing video games with him, like through those consecutive days that you've ever had?
Yeah, well, that, and then the last fight, the fight before that, it's just, yeah, we both like video games, but I don't know, going away with him to these special trips, just, it's special, makes it special.
What was, what's the setup you have, the game setup that I saw on Instagram, and you said might be the greatest day of my life. Sorry, kids. I know you were joking around, and then you unveiled this whole setup.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge gamer, but I know it's getting very popular. Could you explain why that's so great? And you know what I mean? Kind of walk me through it.
So with the help of NVIDIA, they ordered a custom built desk. So your PC tower, okay? That is in the desk. The desk is the tower.
What?
Okay, and all the pieces of the computer are in the desk. And it is just such a nice setup. Not to mention the thing is an actual spaceship. It is so powerful. But it's just so clean. The tower is beautiful. And it's got room to make it even better. It's easy accessible. It is just a gorgeous piece of hardware. It felt like my birthday. It's unreal.
That's amazing. As far as your fighting career goes, because it seems like you took so much away from this fight with Israel in a much different way than the first one. That you are hungry, you're ready to come back, and you want to go full circle. You want to try to earn that opportunity to get in there with him one more time. When would you like to get back and do it again? If you had a choice, the UFC called you right now and said, Robert, when do you want to fight again? What would you tell them?
I think June, July is a good time. Just get straight back in there. Didn't walk away with too many injuries, just bumps and bruises. So, if we can organise something for that period, it'd be good. I think my guys are already speaking to the UFC, and we're organising something soon. So, yeah, should be a bit of fun.
So what stands out to you? I think Vettori's an interesting matchup. There's Strickland, who's on a tear right now. There's Derek Brunson, who might only have one fight left in his career. Maybe he wants that one back. Paulo Costa's always an interesting name. What I'm saying is that there's options for you, Robert, and lots of them. Which one stands out to you, or does it not even matter?
I think Vettori's the only one in the top 5 I haven't fought yet. So I think that makes the most sense. We're both chasing the same thing as that third fight with Adesanya. So it makes perfect sense to have a dig with him. And
I like that fight. I think it makes all the sense in the world. Last thing I wanted to ask you, because you've said it here and you said it at the press conference, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. You said the word inevitable. It's inevitable that you and Israel Adesanya will fight again, that you guys will get back in that octagon and do one more time. There's talks about him maybe moving back up to 205 at some point. So maybe that clock is ticking. But I'm curious, would you be okay if you never fought him again?
In a sense that he's still in the middleweight division, or he goes to another division?
If your career ends, 5-10 years from now, and for some reason we can't get you two guys in that octagon again, if you never get the chance to fight him a third time, would you be okay with that?
But the problem is, 10 years from now, and if he's still the champion in the middleweight division and I haven't had a chance to go at him, what's going wrong here? Either I'm getting stitched up or I fucking need to make some improvements somewhere or some changes. Something's gone heinously wrong. You know what I mean? If he moves to 205 and I stay middleweight and we never cross paths again, I'll live with that. You know, it is what it is, sort of thing. But if he's in the middleweight division at the top and I don't get a third fight with him one day, then I've done something wrong.
So if he stays a middleweight, retires as a middleweight, and you guys don't get to fight again, it's inevitable. I'd love to see it again.
If he retires, he retires.
Right. But if everything like is kind of looks like it is now, the landscape is very similar to it is today.
The fight's not personal. The fight's not personal for me. Like it's not personal. I don't hold it in my heart that I want to fight him again. You know, he's just
it's not a rival. It's a competitive thing. It's something that you feel like you can beat this man.
Yeah, well, he's the path to progression, right? He's the next step. He's the next big boss, and that's what I'm hunting.
Yeah, I would like to see it again. Honestly, I thought the second fight was very close. I thought you might have got the split nod. Honestly, I thought you were going to get it, especially being in Houston. Those judges could be a little. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for Ann New to come, but didn't happen. Izzy gets the Duke, and now you get your chance to head back. And it's just so cool to see the way you're handling it, man. It's just unbelievable just to see how far you've come and the progression and all the interviews you did in the build up to the fight, just to see how you're handling everything now. It's really unbelievable. And now, literally, as we record this, I have to go watch a press conference with Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington just shouting off horrible insults at each other for the next half an hour. So I'm glad I got to talk to you before I got to check all that out, man. I appreciate it very much. Great performance in that fight. And hopefully we do see you back there June and July, maybe against Marvin Vettori, but definitely against one of the top middleweights in the world, sharing that octagon with you. I appreciate the time very much, my man.
Thank you very much, mate. Have a good one.